Participants போட்டு வைப்பா.
Hello, Chitra Miss. Hello, Miss. Hello, Miss. Hello, Miss. Miss. அப்ப எப்படி நான் முன்னாடியே நாங்க உள்ள வந்தோம், ஓவியா கூட உள்ள வந்தா, அப்புறம் எப்படி நாங்க வெளியே எடுத்துட்டீங்க எங்களை?
இல்ல அந்த மீட்டிங் கெமிஸ்ட்ரி மீட்டிங் உங்களுக்கு 4 to 5 கொடுத்திருந்தேன்ல.
ஆமா,
அதை எண்ட் பண்ணிட்டோம்.
இல்ல நான் அந்த மீட்டிங்ல வரல, இல்ல பிசிக்ஸ் மீட்டிங் வழியா தான் நாங்க உள்ள வந்திருந்தோம்.
அதுதான் எண்ட் பண்ணோம். இப்போ இததான் ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ணிருக்கோம்.
இல்ல மிஸ், நீங்க இப்ப 5 to 6க்கு பிசிக்ஸ் மீட்டிங் நம்பர் கொடுத்தீங்கல்ல?
ஆமா,
அந்த வழியா தான் நான் உள்ள வந்தேன்.
ஆக்சுவலி நான் ஆன் பண்ணக்குள்ள எனக்கு வந்து ஏற்கனவே ஒரு ப்ராக்ரஸ்ல இருக்குன்னு சொல்லுச்சு ஒரு மீட்டிங். சோ அத நான் நினைச்சிட்டு அந்த கெமிஸ்ட்ரி உங்களுக்கு
அப்படி நினைச்சு நீங்க பண்ணீங்களா?
ஆமா ஆமா, எண்ட்
பாருங்க,
பண்ணி
பூஜிதா சதீஷ், the meeting ended abruptly ma'am and it shows host as another meeting in progress.
இப்ப ஸ்டூடண்ட்ஸ் வருவாங்களா இதுல
தான் வரணும், பிசிக்ஸ் கிளாஸ்ல தான் வரணும், பிசிக்ஸ் நம்பர்ல தான் வர சொன்னீங்க.
ஆமா ஆமா, 5 to 6 தான் சொல்லிருக்கோம்.
சிவானி, சுந்தர், நிரஞ்சன் எல்லாரும் சொல்றாங்க the meeting ended, please join through physics meeting சொல்ல, physics meeting நம்பர்னு போட்டவா?
ஆமா, போட்டுருங்க.
ஓகேமா.
சரிங்க.
ஓகே, நீங்க என்ன ஹோஸ்ட் ஆக்கிட்டு போயிருங்க.
ஹோஸ்ட் ஆக்கிட்டோம்.
ப்ளீஸ் join through.
ये प्रोटेक्ट करे 99.99% germs से, including virus and bacteria. They higher TFM power or fresh meat. Dettol.
வராங்கப்பா. Students, I am audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We shall wait till others come. Let us join. Let us see how many of them are joining. Let us wait. After a long time we are meeting. Okay, let me discuss something regarding the question paper what you have received till others join. You wrote all the test paper, all the test one time we have written. Is it so? Yes, good evening, Shivani.
Good evening,
ma'am. Okay, good evening to everyone, ma. You have done all the question paper you might have received through, corrected through online. You might have received, isn't it or not? All the tests.
Yes, ma'am.
But only one test is postponed. Whether it was conducted or not, I do not know. But I didn't get that answer sheet of that test. I think the second test, I think so. But when I went through the question paper, certain things are there. Let me tell those questions right now first. Compare objective type. The now since you wrote it for 1 hour, we gave 2 mark and 3 mark questions. Now revision paper will happen for science paper 70 marks, because now everyone has completed the portion. So 70, that actual 80 marks you will take up the exam, 10th standard. 80 mark and 80 marks you take up the exam.
80 marks.
80 marks. So the actual 80 marks, how is the CBSE has proposed, board has proposed the pattern of this academic year, the same pattern will be followed. So objective type, no problem. You will choose among the given option, you will choose it. That is not a problem. But if it is 1 mark question is being given as for 1 mark. What is the question being asked? Be specific with the answer. If they ask what is the product form, write only the product. If you write the chemical reaction as such, for example, what is the product obtained on reacting calcium carbonate? If I say the product obtained is calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. But if you write the reaction, which will be the product? Right hand side is a product that I know, but you are not specifying what is the product. You have written the chemical equation. But after writing the chemical reaction, if you underline these are the products form, likewise, if you mentioned it, it's okay. You have not mentioned the product, but you wrote the chemical equation. How am I to take it into consideration? You are not specific with the question being asked. So write the question answer as very specifically. For a question, what do you observe when lead nitrate and potassium iodide are added? What do you observe? I asked. What do you observe when lead nitrate and potassium iodide solutions are added? When what you are observing? Lead nitrate, PbNO3 twice Ki. When added, you get PbI2 plus KNO3. If you write this equation, no mark will be given. What's the question I asked? Let me adjust my camera. Okay. Because now I have to get a camera. Till I get a camera, you have to adjust with this. Why means 2 weeks back I broke my system, broke my laptop. My laptop get rectified, but it is not observing my letters very clearly. But I will get it 2 or 3 days. The people are gone for. I will get it 2 or 2 days. Better camera. I will get it. The question is, what is observed? I asked. But if you write the chemical equation like this, mark will not be provided. I asked, what do you observe? These are colorless. The observed is iodine. When iodine is there, whatever the product, it obtained as a yellow precipitate. After writing the reaction, yellow precipitate is obtained. If you write yellow precipitate of PbI2 is obtained. If you observe, if you written like this, then mark will be provided. I find out that some of the students have not written the answer specific to the question is not being answered. That I felt very bad. But in the case of 2 mark and 3 mark and 5 mark, if they ask, the statement is there, but they have not asked. For example, explain respiration is a exothermic reaction. Due to respiration, energy is given out. So it is exothermic, means is correct. Energy is given out, it means exothermic already is there. Then only half a mark will be provided. Even though the answer is 1 mark, even though the answer is a 1 mark question, half mark will be provided because it is coming as 3 mark or 5 mark question. When the question comes in 3 mark, 5 mark, whether they ask you to write down the chemical equation or not, wherever there is a possibility of giving the chemical equation, there and all you have to support your answer with your chemical equation. You need not write down the chemical equation for 1 mark question. 1 mark question, you can stick to the answer what is being asked. Very specific. But 2 mark and 3 mark. Even though what happens, you have to explain it. Nothing there. After explaining, if there is a chemical equation in the textbook you have read, you have to support the answer with a chemical equation. Without that, marks will be reduced, because you may say that, ma'am, you did not specify it. Question paper did not specify. Whether the question paper specify or not, if it is a 2 mark, 3 mark, you have to support your answer with the chemical equation. If chemical equation is not there, mark will be accordingly reduced. This is the one observation I have done. I see. Then whenever you write the chemical equation, it should be a balanced chemical equation. Then only it will be accepted. Otherwise, it won't be accepted. Even though you write the chemical equation correctly, but if you have not balanced, then it is considered as only as a wrong chemical equation. Balanced chemical equation only is accepted as a correct equation. So we want the correct balanced chemical equation whenever you write it. If you don't know to balance, if you forget, then you don't write the equation. For example, I have written the answer, but the question did not ask the equation. But as I told, support your answer with chemical equation means you are writing the chemical equation, but you forgot the chemical equation. Better not write the equation. Better not write the equation. Instead of writing a wrong equation and getting the reduce the marks, because you have written answer is right, you are supported with a wrong equation, it's a 1 mark, but I will reduce the mark. But if you have not written the chemical equation, but you have explained the answer very clearly, very precisely, but you forgot the equation, so you did not write the equation, still I give full mark. But since I have told you have to support, but you don't know the chemical equation, wrongly you wrote the chemical equation. Your answer, your explanation is giving full satisfied answer, but you have written the wrong chemical equation. For that, we will reduce the mark. So understand the concept. So write whatever you know, write down very clearly, crystal clear, specifically, so that the teacher should not search for the answer to get give you the mark. That should be the way of presentation of the paper. I have found out that a few people, I don't know the name of the person, I totally forgot the paper I have sent. Somebody has scribbled in the paper, small letters. I do not whose handwriting, I do not know. I wrote the comment that write neatly also. I wrote the comment in the paper. See to that your presentation of the paper is very nice. Because when you scribble, teacher will not search for the answer. That in that case, you scribble means your answers may be overlooked. You will get lesser marks. If you want a very good score, write precisely. Whatever you write down neatly. So the score gives very good score, you will get it. One more thing. Since the classes are going online, most of the teachers have completed the portion. That in most of the schools, they have completed the portion. But don't get fooled by somebody. Don't accept the rumors. As CBSE has told, CBSE has totally, for state board, still reduction of the syllabus has not done. Still reduction of the syllabus has not done. Whether they will get syllabus, whether they will get the exam or not is all a political's game. But CBSE has told very openly that text will be conducted, tests will not be called off, they told. So don't go by the rumors, you will get the test. Mostly the exam happens only in the month of April or May. Very late only you will get, but all the exams will be of written exams. You will be having your exam. That is 100% sure. It may be delayed. Now they are told is in the month of May, but it may be delayed, or in the month of May also it may happen. You have enough time. Now accordingly, the school is also having many revisions. If you go through, then you have joined the course for this also an additional exam you are writing it. By the time when you write these number of exams, your score should be the highest. Highest score for science is 100. You should get the highest score because you have enough time. You are writing as many of revisions as possible. But even if you have gone to school this much of time, you would have received or not is a question mark. In spite of getting this, If you don't utilize this in a good time and don't show your progress, then it is mistake in you. Because next year, if your exam is delayed, your 11th standard portions will be stressed out, because within a less period of time you have to be taught more portions. So that you should be fair, then your mind should be accordingly to accept it. So if you are thorough with this portion, this base can be helpful for you to learn your 11th and 12th in a better way. So make use of the time, make use of this opportunity in a better way, get the highest score. That is the thing. Now, before I revise it, what are the doubts you have regarding chapter 1 and chapter 2? Because according to my target is today is chapter 1 and chapter 2 revision. Even if I'm not able to do, that is not a problem. Let us go for chapter 1 revision. Is there any doubt you have regarding chapter 1? Any doubt? Let me clarify your doubt, then I will go for my revision. Chapter 1, when you gone through the paper, whether I have written wrong, where they have reduced the mark, is there any doubt you have, you can ask me, so that I will clarify your doubts, then I will come to my revision. Anybody else? Any doubt is there? Ma, I'm not getting answer from you. Yes or no? Tell me.
No, ma'am. Not outside.
No, ma'am.
No doubts. Okay, then I will go with my revision. What is the revision? First chapter, first page. If you have your textbook, keep your textbook open so that page wise we can go with the revision, so that we need not skip out anything. How do you define chemical change? What is a chemical change? A change in which there is a new substances formed, which is accompanied by change in color, change in physical state, change in color, evolution of gas or evolution of heat, formation of a precipitate, will show that is a chemical change. Chemical change is a change in which a new substance is formed, which is accompanied by change in physical state, evolution of heat, formation of gas, formation of precipitate, or change in color. These are accompanied. These 5 process, change in state, change in color, change in evolution of heat or absorption of heat, formation of precipitate, formation of gas. This tells you this a chemical change has occurred. What is a chemical equation? Representing the chemical change using symbols and formulae is called as a chemical equation. Representing the chemical change using symbols and formulae is called as a chemical change, chemical equation. C plus O2 gives CO2. Aluminium plus oxygen gives aluminium oxide. It says aluminium plus oxygen, it gives aluminium oxide. It's a chemical equation. It's a word. It is also a chemical equation only, but it's a word equation. Word equation using words, using the expressing the reactants and products in the form of the words. That is called word equation. Using symbols and formulae, we call as a chemical equation. This is called as a skeletal equation. Skeletal equation is a representation of a chemical change using symbols and formulae is called as a skeletal equation. Whenever you write the equation, it should be a balanced chemical equation. What is a balanced chemical equation? A balanced chemical equation is an equation in which number of atoms of each kind should be equal on either side of the chemical equation. In a chemical equation, number of atoms of each kind should be equal on both sides of the chemical equation. Here aluminium is 2, so I have put 2. Number of atoms should be equal. Oxygen is 3, here is 2. How am I to make? I have to make it as an even number. Just to put 2. When I put 2, this becomes 3, 6. When I put 2, my aluminium becomes 4. So I make it 4 by adding 4 here. Now it becomes aluminum oxide. This is the way of balancing the equation. Why I have to balance? What is the need? To satisfy the law of conservation of mass. So the equation should be balanced. According here, we study as types of equation. First is combination reaction. Next is decomposition reaction. Third, displacement, double displacement, then redox reaction. Oxidation reduction reaction, you study that. What is a combination reaction? When two elements or compounds react to form, combine you should not write. When two elements or compounds react to form a single compound, we call as a combination reaction. C plus O2 gives CO2. Elements react to form a single compound. Compound reacts to form a single compound. This is also a combination reaction. Compound, calcium, this is all, you will do it in the laboratory. Calcium oxide plus water gives calcium hydroxide. Calcium oxide is called as a quicklime. This is we call as a Slaker lime. Slaker lime is obtained in the form of a suspension. It is not soluble in water. It is suspension. They do react and form a suspension of calcium hydroxide, which is called as Slaker lime. When I take the Slaker lime, I add more amount of water. Then allow the particles to settle because it's a suspension. It doesn't dissolve. After the particles settle down, there will be a supernatant liquid on the top of the container. The supernatant liquid only we call it as lime water. What is lime water chemically? Lime water is chemically nothing but calcium hydroxide only. It looks, but it is a soluble form. But it's in the soluble form. It's a calcium hydroxide. It looks like a mere water, but it has calcium hydroxide. Slaker lime is a suspension of calcium hydroxide. Lime water is a calcium hydroxide. Lime water contains calcium hydroxide, which is in the pure form, which is in the soluble form. It's an exothermic because heat energy is given out. So it's an exothermic reaction. What is an exothermic? A reaction in which heat energy is given out is called as an exothermic reaction. A reaction in which heat energy is absorbed, it is called as an endothermic reaction. All your decomposition reaction comes under exothermic. Because your decomposition of a compound cannot be taken place without applying heat. So all your decomposition reactions are exothermic. So many exothermic, you can write many equations as an example. In short, I'm asking you to remember as decomposition reaction. All your decomposition reactions are exothermic. Easily breaks out. Next, endothermic, what I can take endothermic. Sorry, I made a mistake. All your decomposition reactions are endothermic. I made it wrong. Sorry. All your decomposition reactions are endothermic. Heat energy is absorbed. Your decomposition reaction cannot take place without absorption of heat. Next, exothermic, what example you can have? That is a question may come. Your exothermic, your photosynthesis is exothermic. The photosynthesis is absorb sunlight, is endothermic. Your respiration is exothermic. All your combustion reactions comes under exothermic. All your combustion reactions comes under exothermic. CH4 plus O2 gives CO2 plus H2O. All your burning, all your combustion comes under exothermic. All your decomposition reactions comes under endothermic, to have a better idea so that you can give many examples. Often ask the question, why respiration is endothermic? Respiration is endothermic or exothermic? Justify. What is respiration? Your digestive food. Your digestive food is nothing but glucose. C6H12O6, your glucose, reacts in the presence of oxygen to produce carbon dioxide plus water plus heat. So only we call, since heat energy is given out, we call this reaction as exothermic reaction. Whenever you write the equation, it should be a balanced chemical equation. 18, 6 2 12. This is a balanced chemical equation. Next, that's all regarding we have under combination reaction. And they will say that decomposition of formation of your manure from kitchen waste again is a exothermic, because the heat energy given out only makes the substance to decompose at a faster rate. So your formation of manure from kitchen waste is again an exothermic reaction. When I talk about decomposition reaction, what is decomposition? Breaking up of a molecule into simpler substances on heating or by giving energy by in the form of heat or in the form of sunlight or in the form of electricity is called as decomposition reaction. For example, calcium carbonate on heating, I get calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Heat energy, it is given that I get the energy in the form of heat. So we call this as thermal decomposition reaction. This decomposition is produced due to heat energy. So we call this a thermal decomposition reaction. You decompose a compound into two or more simpler substances. The substances may be in the form of element or in the name of compound. The decomposition is brought down either in the presence of heat or sunlight or heat, sunlight or electricity. We call as decomposition. If the decomposition is brought due to heat, we call as thermal decomposition. Under thermal decomposition, how many things you have? You have three equations. Oh, this is one. Another one is famous, that is ferrous sulfate. What is the color of ferrous sulfate? It is green in color. When I undergo heating, is thermal decomposition reaction. I get it, iron oxide, Fe2O3, which is brown in color. And I get two gases, SO2 plus SO3. This is the balancing. This Fe2O3 shows green color turns into brown color. That tells me change in color tells you that chemical change has taken place. Next, lead nitrate. Lead nitrate on heating. This is also thermal decomposition. Gives lead oxide plus NO2 plus O2. NO2 is obtained as a brown gas. In the form of brown color, the gas comes out. Reddish brown, actually we say as reddish brown gas. Brown gas comes out. Lead nitrate is colorless. Colorless. When the colorless substance is heated, you can see the reddish brown gas coming out. Reddish brown gas coming out. Then this decomposes to lead oxide. Lead oxide is yellow when hot. Lead oxide is yellow in hot and colorless in cold condition. Cold means you need not cool it, just in the normal condition. In the normal condition, it is colorless. But when it is hot, it will be yellow in color. This observation tells that a chemical change has happened. This is called as thermal decomposition reaction. Next, we do with this decomposition can also be brought down by electricity, that is called as electrolysis. When I bring this decomposition in the presence of electricity, we call that as electrolysis. How it breaks up into hydrogen plus oxygen, balance it. This is the way. But we do it in an experimental way. How? Take a beaker containing distilled water. Distilled water does not contain any salt. It's pure H2O. You prick two holes, fix two electrodes, and close the electrodes with the inverted funnel having water. Let it be A. This is B. This is negative electrode. This is positive electrode. Connected negative end of the battery, positive end of the battery. That tells you. Will they conduct electricity? No. Why? It's a distilled water. Distilled water do not conduct electricity. To make it conduct electricity, what I will add? I add a pinch of salt or a pinch of acid, anything you can take, because these substances make the water to conduct electricity. When I pass electricity, I can see the gas getting, I see the bubbles coming out and gas getting collected. Gas collected. Which are the gases? I know very well that there are two gases, hydrogen and oxygen collected. Hydrogen cation collected at cathode, anion get collected at anode. Cation get collected at cathode, anion get collected at anode. Now, which is the electrode? One is, if I take negative electrode, means what is that? Negative electrode is cathode. What is positive electrode? It is anode. Cation, which is cation, H2, collected at cathode. The volume of hydrogen obtained is twice that of oxygen. So the gas collected will be more here and less here. Here water will be there. This tells me that why hydrogen collected, if one water molecule is divided, I get 2 volumes of water and 1 volume of oxygen. 1 volume of oxygen, because in water, 2 volumes of hydrogen and 1 volume of oxygen are combined. So when they are broken, I get 2 volumes of hydrogen and 1 volume of oxygen. So this will be hydrogen gas, this will be oxygen gas. Then how am I to confirm that this hydrogen gas? Take the test tube. Once the gas is filled up, take the test tube out. Test tube A and test tube B, I told, A and B. Take the test tube A, that it has hydrogen gas. How am I to test the presence of hydrogen? Bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube. Bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube. What it happens? You will observe the burning splinter puts off. The burning splinter puts off. The gas burns with the blue flame. Hydrogen gas burns. Hydrogen gas burns with the blue flame. And the splinter puts off. These are the 2 observations you will observe in the case of hydrogen gas. Confirm. How do you confirm the hydrogen gas is there? Bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube. The gas burns with the blue flame. The gas burns, but the splinter puts off. This is the observation. You will check it out for hydrogen gas. What is the observation you will see for oxygen gas? You bring a burning splinter to the mouth of the test tube with test tube B, because there only oxygen get collected. But the oxygen collected is lesser, half the amount of hydrogen collected. How am I to test? Bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube. Oxygen is a supporter of combustion. So it makes the burner to burn brightly. Here the gas will not burn. The gas supports the splinter to burn brightly because oxygen is a supporter of combustion. Students, since you are many times you are repeating the test, things will be known to you. But what does matter is the way you put the sentence matters a lot. So when you read it, now you know everything. Now you are reading it. After you read a question, write and check it out yourself, whether you wrote it correctly, whether you wrote the meaningful sentence. Does your sentence gives the complete meaning? You check it out. Now that should be done in your home. That should be your homework. By this time, your learning should have been open, because many tests you have is being conducted. You might be knowing the portion. Now, if you have when you have time, leisurely write and see. You yourself be a teacher. Check your answers, whether the answers what you are written is giving a complete meaning. That help you to avoid your mistakes and make your writing, make your presentation of your answer in a better way. Next, then this is the way we judge it. This comes under electrolysis. What is electrolysis? A compound breaks up into its corresponding element on passing electricity is called as electrolysis. A substance broken down into their corresponding elements on passing electricity is called as electrolysis. Next, then decomposition reaction using sunlight. using sunlight. Now AGBR. AGBR is light yellow, or I can say light yellow, or I can say pale yellow. When I subject to the presence of sunlight, this is broken down. You get AG plus BR2. BR2 goes up. You get silver, which is obtained in the form of gray in color. That tells you that their chemical change has occurred. Then AgCl2, AgCl, the same sunlight. Then Ag plus Cl2. Then how am I to balance 2? 2. This Ag get obtained in the form of gray color. This is colorless. AgCl is colorless and you get gray in color. Ag get precipitated out. When you get as a gray, precipitated out means why? It is a solid. Again, you know, so from solution you will get only you precipitate. No, from the, it is a colorless solid. From the colorless solid, you can see the colorless solid convert into gray in color. Sorry. This is photolytic decomposition reaction, because photolytic, why? Sunlight which brings about the reduction. So this reaction can also be called as a photolytic decomposition reaction. Next. That's all regarding where we use this AgCl, AgBr. Mostly AgBr used in photography. To develop the films, we use AgBr. AgBr plays a very important role in developing the films, photography. Next is decomposition reaction. Next is displacement. What is displacement reaction? Yeah, more, that is displacements, I have to remove them from that place. That is called displacement. For example, potassium chloride plus sodium. Right? I use magnesium. Will the reaction occur? No. Why? This metal, this is not trying to break, come away. Why? It is in a compound form. Compound is always very stable. Compound cannot be broken down into the simpler one by anybody. If there are stronger, then it can be done. If magnesium has to replace potassium, then it should be stronger. Then only it can happen. This is only trying to displace. KCl is not trying to displace. KCl is in the form of compound. It is not trying to come out. But somebody stronger is there means it is being kicked out. What is displacement reaction? A more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its compound. A more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its compound is called as displacement reaction. Why this is not possible? Because magnesium is less reactive than potassium. I wrote the thing, magnesium, why this is not happening? What is the reason? Magnesium is less reactive than potassium. So it is half statement. It's a half statement. Your statement is not completed. Less reactive. What is there in less reactive or more reactive? I can put the statement in another way as a K is more reactive than sodium. K is more reactive than magnesium. A statement is correct. Statement is correct. But this statement is not the explanation for this. The 6. But you can say potassium is more reactive than magnesium. You can write the statement, 2 statements are, but this is not the explanation. Because potassium is not trying to come out. Potassium is not trying to come out. This is only trying to take the place of potassium. So you have to talk in terms of magnesium, not in terms of potassium. Magnesium is less reactive than potassium. So magnesium could not displace potassium from its compound. That should be your statement. So this meaning is correct, but this cannot be taken as an answer for this. When you write this half, again, your statement is not completed. What you're telling? You're telling magnesium is more reactive or less reactive than potassium. What is the information? What you're trying to say is not completed. You have to say, since magnesium is less reactive than potassium, it cannot displace potassium from its compound. Then only full statement. Keep that in mind. Now, If I want to have a better idea of displacement reaction, what should I know? I should know reactivity series. What is reactivity series? Reactivity series is nothing but arrangement of elements in the decreasing order of their reactivity. Arrangement of metals in the decreasing order of their reactivity is called as a reactivity series. What is a reactivity series? Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium. Actually, potassium, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, carbon, silver, mercury, gold and platinum. The only non-metal in the reactivity series is hydrogen. Where hydrogen is placed? Hydrogen is placed above copper. The only non-metal in the reactivity series is hydrogen. It is placed above copper. This is a reactivity series. If I know the reactivity series, then only I can check it out. Which reaction will occur, which will not occur. I can have a better idea. For example, this is often asked question. Copper plus hydrochloric acid. What is the product? Often asked question. Copper, no reaction. Why? Copper is less reactive than hydrogen. So copper cannot displace hydrogen from acid. What is the characteristic of metals? Metals reacts with acids to liberate hydrogen gas. But zinc plus HCl, immediately you get zinc chloride plus hydrogen. Why it happens? Zinc is more reactive than hydrogen. So zinc displaces hydrogen from acid to form zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas. But this doesn't happen. Why? Carbon is less reactive than hydrogen, so cannot displace hydrogen from acid. So hydrogen evolution is not placing. That is the answer. That's the way you have to write down the answer. Next, any compound is being given. Wait for a minute, check it out, the reactivity series, then you find it out. The metal which is alone should displace this, the element from this will not displace. The compound is more stable. Element only reactive. They want to, why elements are highly reactive? Why? They want to form a compound. Why they want to form a compound? This is more stable compared to that of element. So only they want to form a compound. So this is stable. Nobody wants to try to come out from that. But the one which is out want to take up this place. So only they are trying to push it out. That is the way your answer should be. What is displacement? A more reactive metal should displace a less reactive compound from its solution. Then is called as a displacement. So that is very clear. I think so. Next. You can, this is, yeah, your objective question can be a little higher order skill also might be. Your displacement reaction is a redox reaction. Your displacement is a redox reaction. For example, zinc plus HCl gives zinc chloride plus hydrogen. Zinc, what oxidation state? Zinc is Zn. Here Zn2 plus. Hydrogen H plus, hydrogen is added up. Addition of hydrogen is a reduction reaction. Then it should be an oxidation reaction. All your redox reaction is, all your displacement reaction is a redox reaction. All your displacement reaction is a redox reaction. That you got to keep in mind. That zinc displacement related, I didn't say double displacement. Your displacement reaction is a redox reaction. What is a redox reaction? When oxidation and reduction occur hand in hand or simultaneously, we call that as a redox reaction. Zinc is in an oxidation reaction. The substance get oxidized. Zinc is oxidized to zinc chloride. How am I to know zinc oxidized? Zinc is in Zn2 plus. Zinc is a neutral state, 0. Increase in the charge, so it's an oxidation. HCl, what happened? Hydrogen gets added up. It's a reduction reaction. In a reduction reaction, the substance get reduced. HCl reduced to H2. Most of the question in CBSE, they will ask which substance is oxidized, which substance is reduced. You have to talk only from the reactant, not from the product. This is only undergoing the reaction. This is the product form. So which will get reduced? This is only get reduced. This is only get oxidized. So you have to write the substance only from the reactant side, not from the product side. The substance which undergoes oxidation reaction will get oxidized. This substance undergoes oxidation, it gets oxidized. This substance get reduced. This is a reduction reaction. In a reduction reaction, the substance get reduced. The substance, this reaction is possible because of this. This oxidation reaction is possible because of this HCl. So this is acting as an oxidizing agent. This is called as an oxidizing agent. This is a reduction reaction. This reduction reaction is possible because of this element. So this is brought down by this one. This is only brings about this reduction. So I call this as a reducing agent. So these are the things to be kept in mind. Let us do one more thing. For example, ZnO plus C gives Zn plus CO. ZnO plus C gives Zn plus CO. What type of reaction? It's a redox reaction. How am I to justify it? ZnO to Zn, oxygen is removed. It's a reduction reaction. What is a reduction reaction? Reduction reaction is a reaction in which the substance in which there is a addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. What is an oxidation reaction? It's an addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. This is oxygen get added up, so it is called as an oxidation reaction. This is called as a reduction reaction. This reduction reaction is possible by this substance, carbon. So this is called as a reducing agent. This is an oxidation reaction. This reaction is being brought down by this substance. Because CO want to convert CO means it needs oxygen. Who gave oxygen? This substance gave oxygen. So only C has converted into CO. So ZnO is responsible for this oxidation. So this is acting as an oxidizing agent. This is acting as an oxidizing agent. This is acting as a reducing agent. In a reduction reaction, which substance get reduced? In a reduction reaction, the substance get reduced. Which reduced? This get reduced. This is only undergoing reduction reaction. So which gets reduced? ZnO get reduced. Which get oxidized? The one which undergoes oxidation reaction will get oxidized. Which get oxidized? Only C get oxidized. Everything with respect to reactant, not with product. This is only undergoing a change. Clear or not? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, wait a minute. Let's
Yes,
wait.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Let me go for some other thing. Fe2O3 plus CO gives Fe plus CO2. CO2, how am I to balance? 3 plus 3, 4, 2, This is 2. When I put 2, I will put 2 here. When I put 2 here, it is not possible. So 2, I will get 4. 4 means 3 2s are 6. 6 plus 2, 8. So it is carbon monoxide only converted into carbon dioxide. Yes, correct. Fe plus CO2. Then how am I to balance? Fe plus 4 oxygen, carbon. I put 2. Okay. Then 3 plus O2. If I put 3, 3 3s are 3 plus 3 6. So I place 3 2s are 6. Correct. Now I balanced. 3 I put it. 3 plus 3 6. 3 2s are 6. Everything 3 carbon balanced it. Now which is get oxidized. Here oxygen is removed. So it is reduction reaction. Here carbon is added up. So this is oxidation reaction. In a reduction reaction, the substance get reduced. Which substance get reduced? This is reduced. In an oxidation reaction, the substance get oxidized. Which is oxidized? This is oxidized. This is oxidized. This is oxidized. Which is an oxidizing agent? Oxidizing agent is a substance which bring about the oxidation reaction. This is the oxidation reaction. This is brought down. It needs oxygen. Who gave this oxygen? This gives oxygen. So this is acting as an oxidizing agent. What is reduction reaction? Oxygen is removed. There must be somebody to remove this oxygen. Then only this happens. So this is acting as a reducing agent. What is an agent? Agent is a substance, is a mediator who bring out the change. Reducing agent is a substance which bring about the reduction reaction. Oxidizing agent is a substance which brings about the oxidation reaction. So here you have to think 6 things. One is which is an oxidation reaction, which is a reduction reaction, which is oxidized, which is reduced, which is an oxidizing agent, which is a reducing agent. Everything with respect to reactant, not with the product. That one you have to keep in mind. Clear? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
can say displacement reaction is a all displacement reaction comes under redox reaction. Next, double displacement. What is double displacement? Double displacement is a reaction in which there is an exchange of ions between the reactants. There is an exchange of ions, barium chloride plus sodium sulfate. There is an exchange of ions between the reacting substance to form products in which one of the substance may be a precipitate. No, I can say that too, if there is exchange of ions between the reacting substance to form products, we call as a double displacement reaction. Exchange of ion takes place. Cl goes over here, SO4 comes over here. BaSO4 plus NaCl. When I balance, this is balanced. It is formed a precipitate. This is barium sulfate is obtained as a white precipitate. It's a double displacement. What is double displacement reaction? Double displacement reaction is a reaction in which there is an exchange of ions to form products. That only you have to stop. Well, there are two in a double displacement reaction can be classified into. There are 2 types are there. Double displacement. One is precipitation. Another is a neutralization. Neutralization. One is precipitation reaction. It's a double displacement reaction. But specifically, I can call this as a precipitation reaction because a precipitate is formed. A precipitate is formed. For example, what is a neutralization reaction? Acid reacts with a base to form salt and water. Salt and water. Exchange of ions. NaCl goes over here, OH comes over here. Yes, exchange of ions. But it doesn't, it's just a double displacement reaction. Yes. What is double displacement? Exchange of ions between the reacting substance to form products is called as a double displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction comes under two categories. One is precipitation reaction, another is a neutralization. Here no precipitate is formed. So you cannot expect precipitation in all double displacement reaction. Double displacement reaction can be classified into two categories, precipitation and neutralization. If the precipitate is formed, we call that as a precipitation reaction. If there is no precipitate is formed, then there is no precipitate, mostly it will be a neutralization reaction. So I can say it's a double displacement, but specifically I can call this as a precipitation reaction. So therefore I can say all double displacements are not precipitation reaction, but all precipitation reactions are that other reverse is also not possible. That is all precipitation reactions. If a precipitate is being formed, it need not be always a double decomposition reaction. Yeah, precipitation. So all double displacement reactions are not precipitation reaction. There are two categories. Either it form a precipitate or it may be a neutralization. But don't think so. The precipitate is obtained only by double displacement reaction. You get a precipitate from different reactions, different types of reactions, you get a precipitate. But all precipitation reactions are not double displacement. But all double displacement reactions are not precipitation reaction. Both are not possible. But if you get a precipitate in a double displacement reaction, if you get a precipitate, we call as a precipitation reaction. If you don't get a precipitate, that reaction may be a neutralization reaction too. Even neutralization reaction comes under double displacement reaction. Then this is one double displacement often asked. What color of the precipitate is obtained? Is a white precipitate. Then when the starting we did barium chloride, one is potassium iodide plus lead nitrate. Lead nitrate, this is also often asked. Lead nitrate with potassium iodide. At your textbook question, PbI2 plus potassium nitrate. This is also your double displacement reaction. But specifically, I can call this as a precipitation reaction because you get a yellow precipitate. Whenever there is an iodine is there, mostly the color of the precipitate will be yellow in color. That you have a clue. So this is a double displacement reaction. Redox is over. Redox, we completed it. Then it is corrosion. What is corrosion? When the metal gets oxidized. When the metal, your corrosion is nothing but oxidation reaction. When your metals get oxidized, either in the presence of an acid or in the presence, the metal can be oxidized with the help of chemicals or in the presence of air or chemicals will bring about this change. We call that as a corrosion. Corrosion can be got on either due to oxygen or due to moisture or due to any chemicals. The metal get oxidized. That is called as corrosion. If the same corrosion happens in iron, we call that as a rusting. If the same corrosion happens in iron, we call it as rusting. Then what give examples where I can see the often asked question in your textbook is 3. Silver articles get corroded. You might have seen at your home. If you keep it exposed at your home to air, it turns into black in color. The black color on silver is due to formation of silver sulfide. A reaction with hydrogen sulfide present in the air to form silver sulfide. Sulfide, valency 2, silver 1, crisscross, Ag2S. But copper vessel, if you are using copper vessel, if you don't clean it daily, you can see green color patches on the copper vessel. That is due to corrosion, is due to the formation of CuCO3 dot CuOH twice. This combination is responsible for copper carbonate, copper hydroxide. It reacts with moisture and carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. So only you see a green patches. The green patches is due to the formation of copper carbonate and calcium hydroxide, dot calcium hydroxide. One more thing, when iron gets rusted, corrosion of iron, you can call it as rusting, is due to the formation of Fe2O3 dot XH2O. Ma'am, why you are writing dot XH2O? Because number of water molecules it forms is not known. but water molecules is also present. How many water molecules is not yet found out. This is the formula for rust formed. Iron get rusted only in the presence of moist air. If you have only air, no rusting. Only water if it in contact, no rusting. But when it comes in contact with moist air, we can see rusting. Now it is rainy season. You can see rusting, mostly rusting happens now because now the humidity is very high because of rain. Because of rain, humidity in the atmosphere is high and oxygen is also there. So iron get easily rusted during only in winter season. But in the summer season, it's dry. Atmosphere humidity is less. It is very dry. So contact with water is less. So rusting is slow. But rusting is very fast during rainy season. Because iron get rusted only in the moist air. Only air, no rusting. Only water, no rusting. It has to be, both the things should be available for iron to be rusted. These are all the three things get very asked. Magnesium is a silvery white. It looks like a silver only, silvery white. But when you expose to oxygen in the atmosphere, you can see a coating, it becomes gray in color. It turns gray because silvery white, white powder get deposited. So the silvery white goes off. It's some gray white deposit. You can see that. It is due to the formation of magnesium oxide. Aluminium on exposure to oxygen, it forms aluminium oxide. This is also corrosion. This is also corrosion. All are corrosion. But this corrosion is advantage to the metal. This corrosion is a disadvantage to the metal. Why? It lowers the quality of the metal. It lowers the quality of the metal. Metal quality goes down. Whereas this is what happened. It acts as a protective cover over the metal. For thereby, it prevents the further reaction of the metal. So metal is being protected by the formation. So this corrosion is advantage, whereas this corrosion is disadvantage. It is not useful. Then how can you avoid this corrosion? By painting, greasing, oiling, anodizing, or plating. What is this? Is very often asked. Electroplating. You plate more reactive, which, for example, when you coat the metal, which metal you will take? You will take a more reactive metal to coat it. Why? More reactive metal, for example, you can, if you feel that silver gets corroded, so copper easily get corroded, you can coat copper with aluminum. Why? Aluminum is a more reactive metal. Ma'am, why I have to coat? You can say. Aluminum is more reactive, where it reacts with oxygen in the atmosphere to form aluminum oxide. Aluminum oxide acts as a protective cover. So copper is highly protected by two layers. Layer of aluminum oxide, one cover. So totally protected. So when you coat the metal, you coat the metal with highly reactive metal. The highly reactive metal acts as a protective coating over the metal. Understood? For example, if I take silver can be coated with iron, zinc. Zinc are more reactive. Zinc are more reactive, they form an oxide, and that oxide cover acts as a cover over the metal so that the metal can be escaped from corrosion. That is called electroplating. When we do electroplate, you coat the metal with more reactive metal. The more reactive metal acts as a protective cover over the metal. Thereby, corrosion can be avoided. If you use zinc, specifically use zinc for electroplating, we call as galvanization. If you use chromium, we call as chrome plating. Zinc, again, zinc oxide also acts as a protective cover. Zinc oxide is also protective. In zinc also, it acts as a protective cover. That is also corrosion is advantage. If you use chromium, we call that as a chrome plating. If you use zinc, we call as galvanization. You can also do alloying. What is alloying? Mixture of metals. When I do mixture of metals, whereas when mixture of metals are used, then corrosion is avoided. That is process is called as alloying. What is an alloy? Alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two or more metals, or metals and non-metal is called as alloy. How do you prepare an alloy? Alloy, the metal which is of high proportion should be melted first. Metals of which are lower proportion, then is added in proportions and stirred well. You get a homogeneous mixture. From the mixture, can I get back the metal? Yes. From alloy, I can get back the metal also. Yes, it's possible. Yes, jewelry is an alloy. Your copper is there. Silver percentage is more, copper is less. The metal which is of high proportion is melted, and the metal of lower proportion is added, mixed. Then you form a mixture. Then after that, they will remove the copper from gold. They can easily, it's a mixture. From a mixture, you can separate the components by any means. So from a mixture, you can separate it. That is called alloy. What is the purpose of making alloy? To make the metal stronger. To make the metal stronger. To avoid, mainly they started to doing alloy to avoid the corrosion of the metal, mainly to avoid the corrosion. Copper is get easily corroded, but alloy, brass, bronze do not get corroded very easily. Copper is lighter, is not that much hard, but bronze and brass are very harder. The purpose of making alloy is to avoid corrosion, to increase the strength of the metal, to make the metal very stronger, to prevent corrosion. That is the main purpose, to increase the melting point and the boiling point. That is the main purpose of making alloy, to avoid corrosion, to increase the strength of the metal. That is the purpose we made the alloy. Some of the alloys are given: brass, bronze, solder. These three you have to check. Stainless steel, 4 alloys are given, and read the proportion also. Brass is a alloy of copper. Your stainless steel is an alloy of iron. Solder is an alloy of tin and lead. Solder is an alloy of tin. You have to know what alloy is this. How do you know which alloy is? The metal which is in high proportion is that alloy. Copper, in brass and bronze, copper percentage is more. So we call copper. There are some other metals also. We don't call them as their alloy. We call them as alloy of copper. Why? Copper metal is more. The metal whose percentage is more, then they are called alloy of that particular metal. If I tell stainless steel contains iron, chromium carbon. I won't say stainless steel is a alloy of chromium. I won't say it's an alloy of iron, because percentage of iron is more. That's all regarding chapter 1. Anything from your side to discuss? Anything
No
from
doubts,
your side?
ma'am.
I couldn't understand. Anything from your side?
No doubts, ma'am.
Okay. Shall we wind up so that we shall go with the next revision? Second class we can go. When you come for the second revision, second chapter I will do. What are the doubts? Keep it noted. We shall discuss in the second class. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. I tell that you have enough time. You are doing number of questions, number of tests you are doing. The score should be always the highest from everyone. Keep that in mind. So start preparing now. So you have enough time. 4 months is there. 4 months you are going writing. Right. Use of check it out. Leisurely, if you do it also, you can easily get the highest score. So make use of the time. Okay, all the best, ma. Okay, ma, take care. We shall do it. We shall meet in the next class. Okay, ma, thank you. I'm winding up the class. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you, ma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma.